What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. I wanted to take a quick moment today and just talk about the pretty much overwhelming numbers that you can come up with when looking at the crafting materials that will be required to get yourself back to where you were before doing Ancient Power. Now, as we all know, the higher you push an Onslaught, the better off you're going to be as far as Ancient Power goes, and it's going to make your Ancient Power resets easier and easier the higher you push. Now, we also know that if you do push up high in Onslaught, you've probably got at least a few items that you've got either perfectly modded or close enough to being perfectly modded where they're items that you would want to keep and upgrade through the chains to get back to the Chaos 7 stat or Chaos 8 stat wherever you're at. Now, we know that 2019 is going to bring some changes to Dungeon Defenders 2. We don't know what these changes are yet, but with Lightrayne and Javahawk taking over as co-creative directors of the game, one of the things they promised is Ancient Power is going to become more rewarding. Now, this leads me to believe that if we're going to go ahead and have faith that Lightrayne and Javahawk are going to make the Ancient Power system just awesome, now might be a perfect time to get some Ancient Power resets in. Now, by all means, I am not encouraging anyone to go out and start doing AP resets before their time. Make sure you're ready before you start that process. The reason I put this video together was a couple of reasons. First off, the number of crafting materials is simply overwhelming. But second off, I wanted to look for me personally. As, you know, I've pushed up into Onslaught. I've done pretty decent in my push. I'm in like the top 50 or so. I've got lots of Chaos 8 stuff, I've got a ton of fully upgraded Chaos 7 stuff, and I've got a lot of gear all dialed in to get to where I was. Now, of course, this includes dialing in different sets for hero spotlights and things like that, so it's a little bit more than what your average player would have for sure. However, I went through and kind of took inventory of exactly what I have. Now, in the current state, I've got 12 Chaos 7 relics that are fully upgraded to max Chaos 7 and are completely dialed in as far as mods go. I've got 11 Chaos 8 relics that are either fully upgraded or partially upgraded into Chaos 8 and, once again, completely dialed in as far as mods go. I've also got one Chaos 8 weapon that's fully upgraded and completely modded. And then here is an overwhelming number. I've got 30 individual pieces of gear that are Chaos 7 and fully upgraded to Chaos 7, 10 of 10, and fully modded. Now this, when I say gear, I mean armor and weapons. So I've got 30 pieces of armor and weapons at Chaos 7 completely modded. Now, obviously, for me to start going back and resetting, it's going to take a pretty absurd amount. Now, looking at these numbers here, we know just going through and upgrading one item from campaign back to Chaos 7 is going to take you 40 plain motes, 50 shiny motes, 4 of the shiny mats specific to that item, and plus all the amps, plus all the gold. Now, I went through and I calculated everything I would need to get all of this stuff upgraded back up to where it is currently. And I wish I wouldn't have done it because it is just an overwhelming number. Now, first off, all the way at the top, plain motes. For me to get all my gear back up to where it is right now, I would need 2,670 plain motes. 2,670. Youch. I would need 2,650 shiny motes. I'd need 212 of the shiny specific materials, whether it be a cluster or an ingot or whatever the case is. I would need 2,962 of the pristine materials. That's a lot, you know, considering we're getting 1 or 2 a map. That means once I get back just to Chaos 7, I would have to do 1,500 maps, assuming I got 2 every single map I ran. Now, of course, you're not even guaranteed to get 2. You get between 1 and 2, and I need to come up with 2,962 of these things. Another really overwhelming number is pristine motes. I would need 6,660 pristine motes to get everything back to exactly where it is right now. That is just a ton of motes. Once again there, you're going to get 5 motes per map. So 6,000 divided by 5 would be what? That would be 1,200 right there, just to get back 6,000 of those pristine motes. Now, of course, when you're going through and you're doing your ancient power resets, you're going to be collecting materials and you're going to be collecting gold. So you can negate some of those costs by purchasing them through the market if you can find anything available. In the current state, there is just very few crafting materials other than stuff you just don't need that you ever see on the markets. I know every once in a while somebody will get lucky and get a big score. I personally check the markets on all 3 servers at least 3 times a day, and I just practically never find anything to buy at all. Now, on top of all of that, I would also need 62 Chaos 8 amps. I didn't include the amps through this thing because we know the amps are kind of a dime a dozen. Chaos 8 amps, however, are not the case. They're a lot more rare. I would need 62 Chaos 8 amps just to get back to where I am currently. So at the current rate of, what, 8 million? Just say 5 million just for ease of math. Not that I've ever seen anyone sell a C8 amp for 5 million, but just say I got lucky and somebody decided to throw a bunch of C8 amps up for 5 mil a piece. That's 310 million gold right there, just for the Chaos 8 amps. Now, this is a pretty absurd number, however, it's something I think everyone should look at, especially if you've pushed an onslaught, you have your favorite heroes, you've got some stuff dialed in. It is some gloomy information, there is no doubt about it, because it's going to show you some pretty overwhelming numbers of what kind of grind you would have ahead of you after you were done with your ancient power, just to get back to where you are right now with the gear. Now, I'm really hoping that Lightrayne and Javahawk take these things into consideration as they're choosing the direction of Dungeon Defenders 2 into 2019, because this is just a crazy amount of crafting material grinding. Now, the good thing about crafting materials is you go to the right place, you know what you're going to get, you know where to go get it, and it's a guaranteed drop. So that, of course, is awesome. But just thinking that I'm going to have to do 1,000+ maps after I would get done with doing more ancient power resets is very disheartening and very discouraging for me to start the ancient power reset process again. I really want to, because I did think it was fun going through and doing the ancient power resets. It's nice to have all of those mini victories every time you do a reset and just feeling the constant progression as you move up through the chaos tiers while in the middle of an ancient power reset. However, it's just a daunting task to think about getting all of those crafting materials back. So go through your stuff, check it all out, see what it would take to get you back to where you are right now. Now granted, this is some 4 AM math, so I'm sure my math is not perfect, but it's pretty darn close, sadly. But that will do it for now. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button, please subscribe to the channel, and I will be back soon with more Dungeon Defenders 2. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.